right, so we're going to continue with Zane for working on his posture. From our evaluation, we saw he had S posture at address, which means a little bit of too much anterior tilt. And so we want to give him a couple exercises to try to get him to feel what that neutral posture is, maybe a little bit of a posterior tilt feeling, that feeling of connecting, our lower body and our upper body and plugging in for power. All the power comes from right here. So first thing I want to have Zane do, we're going to stand facing this way, and you're just going to bring your right knee up and try to pull it into your chest. And as you do that, see if you can squeeze your left glute. And then we'll try the other way. Maybe turn sideways just so you can see. Pull that knee into the chest. He's pulling his left knee, and then he's going to try to get that right glute to fire. And you should feel maybe a little bit of a stretch in the back when you do it. Try maybe one more time on this side. Knee comes up, fire the opposite glute. Next drill I'm going to have Zane do is putting the club behind his back and trying to feel how to get into posture, maintaining a nice neutral spine and tall through his thoracic region. We want to keep this length instead of crouching down. So the way to do that is you can put the club behind you, hold the club head. So he wants to feel that club on his sacrum, the bottom of his spine, between his shoulder blades and as close to his head as possible. And before he flexes and gets into his address posture, I want him to feel his belly button pull in, keep his spine right on the golf club. And once he's there, then we're going to try to hinge from our hips. You can get a little knee bend if you want, and then back up. And try to keep that posture as we go down. This forces you to use your hips. We don't want to get into the posture by rounding our spine. We want to keep our spine nice and neutral so we can rotate. Nice and straight through here. Good. Next exercise we're going to do to work on some posture and feeling that posterior tilt for Zane instead of the anterior tilt, that's the S posture. We want to again facilitate a more neutral position. And this one we're going to do in what's called half kneeling. So I'm going to have Zane get on this cushion. You can use a pillow or a towel at home. And we want to get that front leg in a nice 90-90 position here. And then bring the club out in front of you, both hands on it, okay? And now what I want Zane to feel is feeling like he's pulling his belly button in and pushing his hips forward. Chest stays up nice and tall. And if you're doing it correctly, you should feel a stretch in front of the leg that's down on the mat. So we're feeling that plugging in sensation and then feeling the glutes push forward. And this should feel good. This should feel like a good deep stretch. Very important for golfers to stretch the hip flexors. It's one of the most important things you can stretch. Chest stays nice and tall. Belly button pulls in. Feel those glutes. There we go. That's really good. So now we're going to work on thoracic rotation in a good neutral posture. And I'm going to have Zane put the golf club right across the front of his chest like this. And now we're going to get into that posture that we've just practiced. Good neutral spine. And now I want Zane to just try to bring the handle of the club down to the ball, and then try to bring the club head down to the ball. And we're trying to keep this nice and vertical as we can. Do 10 times like this, and then I would switch to make it a little harder, and I'm going to take the golf club away, and I'm going to have Zane put his arms straight out, and now imagine that you don't have shoulders or elbows, and we're just gonna hinge down and try to do that same thing. And now your arms should look like a windmill. One arm should go up to the ceiling, the other goes down to the ground. Good. This looks like a simple exercise, but if you do it correctly, you'll feel the muscles working. Next exercise we're going to practice is working on the lower body and what we want the pelvis and the lower body to do. And this is a good functional balance exercise and can also be challenging. So I'm going to have Zane try to get into his golf posture that we've been practicing. Maybe you can put your arms across here. And I want you to just think about, first, just lifting your left heel. So see if you can lift the left heel, and then put it down, and then try to lift the right heel. And just pay attention to what that's doing to your weight. And you can shift your weight if you need to make it easier. You can move your legs if you need to. After you try about 10 of these, then try to put it together, put both legs together. So we're gonna try to lift the left heel, and now we're gonna try to lift the right toe. And then we're gonna do the opposite, put the right toe down, lift the left toe up. You can see his pelvis is turning without even thinking about it. And that's what we want in the golf swing. All right, so just to review what we've gone over with Zane for his S posture, we did 5 exercises: the standing hamstring glute stretch, the hip hinge exercise, the kneeling hip flexor stretch. We did a thoracic windmill stretch, and then we did a little exercise to work on footwork where we were doing some heel toe to help get that feel of where we want the weight moving in the golf swing. And I think working on those 5 exercises with Zane, we should see some good improvements in his S posture and in his overall golf swing.